Yes, welcome to another Wednesday night. This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. Make no mistakes. This is Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television, and I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Welcome, Bass Galaxy. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Hello. How are you? It's good to see you.
Yo.
It's good to see you, Bass Galaxy. Yes, we were just here. Seems time flies when you're having fun in Bassin land. That's all I could say. And happy Cinco de Mayo to all the Senkos out there,
Yeah.
especially JP's cat.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope Senko's doing well. Happy early Mama's Day as well to all you mamas and MILFs out there, of course. Hey, let's get it going because I'm excited to have this deal happen tonight. With some old school and some new school bassin. Our two guests tonight. You see, I'm very. It's because it's the late Red Bull. I'm going to be honest.
Interweave 'em.
Yeah, it's the late. It's the interweaving Red Bulls. Randy Blockett coming on first. Randy Blockett, Mellencamp. Bassin legend, Randy Blockett, mind you. And yes, thank you. And then. How about this for the best Bassin name ever? Jack Dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. College champ Jack Dice. Bass Nation college champ. Coming out. Yes, sir. Hey, I got to, before we go any further, I really have to say, at the beginning of the show this time, a special thanks to all of you in the Bass Galaxy. Give it up for yourselves, please, right now. I gotta tell you, I usually don't, after a show is done, I judge a show on how I feel after the show, or how, the feeling that it leaves me as the show goes. And I kind of leave it there. I'll ask Ginge, I'll ask Ryan, hey, how'd the show go, guys? What do you think about it? And I kind of leave it there. And I want to tell you, I inadvertently intercepted some information today that I don't usually pay attention to. And I just want to thank all of you for the love that you show to Stray Cats in the podcast form. Oh, my God. Thank you. Unreal. Thank you.
On the iTunes?
All the day, I got the things for everybody loves the podcast deal these days, I guess. But they don't even know it's not a podcast. This is a Bassin talk show. Yeah. But they listen to it on the podcast.
Right.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. So it's overwhelming. I got to tell you, I just seriously, as we say on this show, we all here at Stray Cats, thank you so much for your love on the podcasts. And that's downloaded every evening immediately after the show, every Wednesday night. So it's there for you. Thanks again. Let's move right along. Hey, it's time for some like and share. How about some like and share music? You ready? Wednesday night. Andrew Ellenberger, Ginger Ninja. Like and share is very easy. Everyone likes and everyone shares. And then we all benefit. It's amazing. All you have to do is like and share this live Facebook feed. And guess what tonight? Our like and share contest is sponsored by Two Peeps. Bravarni Baits, Dan Bravarni nice. Swim Jigs, and Outcast Tackle, Connor Summers with the Rod Slicks Rod covers. So here's the deal. Ryan Whitaker, explain, please, the like and share contest rules.
You simply like and share.
Yes.
This live Facebook feed.
There it is. Onto your own Facebook
page. Do not put it on private.
Yes, take off the privates. Show your privates.
Hide your privates.
Hide your privates.
Yeah. Do that. Don't share it from someone else's share. Share it from Stray Cats.
And then
to your page.
At the end of the deal, not one but two winners will be picked.
Yes, sir.
Jake Haas will come on. He's a Stray Cats intern out of New Jersey. He will pick the winner for Bravarni and the winner for the Slicks Rod covers. Compliments to Outcast Tackle. Makers of the Fighter Jig. And the soon-to-come Matt Robertson Pro Model Elite Super Something Jig. Not yet.
Super something.
Yeah, super something.
That should be the name.
It's a super something jig.
Yeah.
Super something thing maker too. But anyway, moving right along. And speaking of super something, like and share the live Facebook feed. Chance to win $50 worth of good stuff from two amazing business partners right there for the Straight Cash Show. Hey, I want to tell you something else. We kind of live in the armpit of fishing where we live, Ryan Whitaker.
Yeah.
But there's a little thing going on out here that's a little a saving grace to the area, and it's the Cal-Sag Bass Anglers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh,
Awesome.
I like that, Ginge. That's like some Nancy Faust Chicago music, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
You happen to have a Cal-Sag Bass Angler shirt on right now.
I do.
Yes.
I do. Yeah.
And
I got the tour schedule on the back, too.
Nice.
One location.
There it is. And Cal-Sag Bass Anglers, put on by Dave Figley, is an opportunity for anglers in the area to actually compete and win a few rubles, okay?
Yeah.
And it's held on two locations, the Big Lake and Cal-Sag, home of the 2000 Bassmaster Classic, in case that sounds familiar to any of you out there in the Bass Galaxy. Lake Calumet, home of Clun, was there.
Ike was there.
Ike was there. Yeah, Aaron.
Mark Ritz was there?
Mark Ritz. I was actually with him.
You were with
I
him?
was with Mark a
In
couple.
what way?
Just in a casual way. No, I was hanging out with the dude the other.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No kidding.
in Gunnersville. Yeah.
Was he drop shotting?
I didn't realize who he was till the next day, so that kind of threw. Like, I was like, "Dang, that was the dude.
Yeah.
That's the dude that came in second in Chicago, behind Woo Dave's."
Yes, sir.
And I told Aaron, I was like, "Man, I feel bad because I didn't recognize that was the second place winner, or second place finisher in
Kind
the
of
BMC."
brought drop shotting to the.
And then of
the
course
people.
that was a bad thing to bring up because then Aaron went, "Yeah, I came in second." It's just it's a bad scene. But anyway, Cal-Sag Bass Anglers has a derb this weekend. If you live within the Chicagoland area, I'd say within 100 miles, it's worth a drive. It's a chance.
Or more.
Yeah, it's a chance to win some big money fishing. What are you getting? About 40 boats these days?
Yeah,
right?
for around the 40s. And
See how I got real Chicago right there? What are you getting? Like 40 boats these days?
40, 41, 42. But yeah, like 120% payback.
Pretty
like real 120% payback.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And of course some of the best sticks around here. Old Hosey.
Yeah, man, the competition's awesome.
Hosey's amazing.
Hosey,
Ray Lang.
Hosey gets checks.
Ray Lang kicking some butt.
Ray Lang is undefeated.
What's up with that dude?
I don't know, man, but if he blows his AOY,
Brian Jackson.
come on.
All right. I'm getting a little chatty for the beginning. Andy, you want to say anything in Italian before I move on? Cal-Sag Bass Anglers, check him out. Cal-Sag. What is it? Cal-Sag.
CalSagBass.com.
CalSagBass.com. There it is. Boom. Hey, I like see the music. It keeps me. I don't like doing this live stuff at the beginning commercials. That's a bad part of this. But I now that there's music, I enjoy it. So let's get right on to this thing right here. Welcome to the saloon. I know what that means. Ryan, you know what the saloon means?
What does the saloon mean?
It's the
Does it have something to do with this stuff?
It's the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week.
Yes, sir.
There it is right there. Every time you hear this word, take a drink and drink responsibly. It could be any drink. It could be Tin Cup Whiskey. It could be Mountain Dew. It could be Coca-Cola or Gatorade. But please,
Or a combination.
or a combination of all those together, and it's called Jungle Mix. But
It's called a suicide.
it's called something. But Ryan, what is the Tin Cup Whiskey word of the week?
The word is Bugs Island. I'm sorry, not Bugs Island. It's progression.
Oh,
Progression.
Progression of Bugs Island. That's an X-Files episode.
Bugs Island was in my head.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Because of Randy.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
1989. Yeah, progression.
Progression.
Yes,
okay, I like it. So anytime you hear the word progression of bassin', take your drink, and please drink responsibly. And hey, good luck to the Tin Cup Whiskey team out there at the Elites on Neely Henry starting tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Seth Fighter and Matthew Robertson. Good luck to you guys out there. And Luke Foley and the Tin Cup Bunch. They're out there at every bass event now. Yeah, living it up.
That's awesome.
Whiskey Gypsy, man, on the road, bassin'. Pretty cool. Word of the week, Tin Cup Whiskey. Thank you to them is...
Progression.
Regression. There it is. All right, now here's the big thing. Ginge. Andrew Ellenberger, the Ginger Ninja. He's all about apps. He uses apps for everything. He has a translating app for even like for like Star Wars language to human language. It's pretty amazing. I don't even know what it is. But Andy, the Half a Spot app is the hottest new app out there right now. It's kind of like Hansel and Zoolander, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like giant bluegills and Zoolander. That's super hot right now.
Havasu.
Yes, Havasu, bluegills, and Zoolander. But Half a Spot Official is having Andy. I liked your tournament music. Where's your tournament music?
You talk too long.
No, that was only 3 seconds.
It's all
Because you're going to get ready to talk now. Get ready for these yapkas. Andy, it's the King of Bass tournament, broken up into North and South regions. 5 qualifying events. You can fish from the bank, you can fish from a kayak, or you can fish from a boat. The likes of Millikan University, old Millikan's in there. Ish Monroe, right? Michael Iconelli, the Ike Live Gang, Brian the Carpenter, the Riz. Who else am I forgetting, Ginge? Oh, Burge. Burge is in there. And the Stray Cast Bunch. Yeah, in August, guys, we're fishing a derb.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then in October.
July.
Yeah, no, August. I read August today somewhere. Yeah, you'll know on halfaspotofficial.com and when you would download the Half a Spot app. But anyway, and then in October, we go to an undisclosed location and we all fish. Yeah, I can't tell you guys yet. It's going to be amazing, though. But everybody has a chance to win big money. Tell them a little more about it, Ginge.
So the King of the Bass is starting up here with Milliken's kicking it off.
Okay.
7, 8, 9 of May. So you have to fish 2 out of 3 events, though, to get qualified for the to-be-determined King of Bass Championship.
Gotcha. 2 out of 3 events.
Yes,
That could
and
be
then-
from the bank, from a kayak, or from a boat.
Wherever.
Yep.
And then the top 15 from the regions are going to go to the Classic.
Ooh.
It's $150 to enter. Silly if you don't get in.
Okay, and what's the
You're already
GP?
out fishing.
What's the grand prize?
To be determined. I can't tell you that.
Oh,
I don't
as
wanna-
far as monetary, there's not a I thought I saw the amount. I
Too
was like,
big to mention?
Too big to mention.
Yeah, it was grande. I know
Grande.
that.
It's big. It's worth it.
Download the Half a Spot app.
Yep.
Right now on your Android or iPhone and check it out. And a chance to win some big money, and you're already fishing anyway.
You got 2 days.
Yeah, it's there. It is. Boom. Check it out. Halfaspotofficial.com. Thanks to you guys. Hey, moving it right along. Are you ready? Everybody needs to keep things covered, especially your investments, whether it's your grill, whether it's your boat, or whether it's your sports car, your Lamborghini. Whatever it is, keep it covered. Empire Covers has you covered, Bass Galaxy. Check out EmpireCovers.com. Put in code StrayCast and save some money. Boat covers for your bass boat for under $200. Boom! I think we have that. Shakalaka boom boom.
I think
as
you
they
have
say
that.
on the Giant Bass Show.
Yeah.
Hey, let's put the power poles down. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with Bass and Legend, Randy Blockett. The progression and the regression of Bassin when we return.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain Whiskey.
Nobody wants to run out of power when they're on the water. There is a better way. Introducing the Charge Marine Power Management Station from PowerPole that does the work of 3 devices: a traditional battery charger, a charge on the run, and an emergency start system. PowerPole Charge.
You take pride in your boat, so it deserves the best protection possible. Our durable woven fabric prevents ripping and provides UV protection, and our tape seams provide protection against the elements. The heavy-duty shock cord hem and strap and buckle system provide a tight and secure fit. Our top-of-the-line boat covers come with a ventilation system to keep your boat free from mold buildup. Empire Covers, protecting what you love.
The TH Marine Hydrowave H2 KVD Edition is a surefire way to ignite a feeding frenzy. The Hydrowave utilizes a sound-emitting technology that imitates bait fish and other feeding fish below the surface that preys on the competitive nature of bass and other game fish to get you more bites. The Hydrowave is another way that TH Marine has you covered from transom to trolling motor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give to you bass fishing legend, bass fishing icon, the one and only Bass Galaxy. Give it up for Randy Blockett right here on Straight Cast. Yes. Yes. Phenomenal. Welcome, Randy.
Hey, Pat. What's up, man?
How you doing, bud? Good to see you.
Doing good, man. It's been too long. It's been like 8 months or so since we did something.
Yeah, I mean, or even longer than that. Like, I mean, maybe 8 months since we talked, but I think the last time that you were on the show is when your son was born. It's been,
wow.
Yeah. How old is your son now?
He turns 4 in June, so that's been forever, man.
I know, like this. Believe it or not, it's our 6th season of this nonsense, and I think that the last time correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think that's when your son was born.
Yeah,
right?
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, so good to have you back, man. You know,
appreciate it, man.
35 years, 35 years, Randy. Do you believe that when you think about that shit? 35 years you've been doing this.
It just seems like yesterday I got started. I can remember, heading out from home, driving to St. Lawrence River in 1985 for my first Bassmaster tournament.
Yeah,
it seems like yesterday, man.
Man, I mean, let's face it. You've have a crazy career, and a lot of people are like, Randy's complaining about stuff. Randy's doing this. Hey, let's face it. If you don't got haters, you ain't making it. Okay, but here's the bottom line, and this is what I have to say to anybody that has anything negative to say about you, Randy. They're entitled to their opinion, first off, as you agree with, I'm sure. But second off, like, you're a derber, okay? There's no doubt about it. You are a tournament fisherman. That's what you do. That's what you have made a living doing, fishing tournaments. You might do good, you might do bad. But bottom line is, you've been doing this, man, for 35 years and making a living out of it. So let's go ahead and argue with that if you want to say anything else. about Randy Blockett.
You know, Pat, it's just like social media. It's like that's just sort of the dynamic of that format. It's like if you have an opinion on anything, there's going to be people disagree with it. I mean, I could sit and say, hey, you know, my grandma is going to come over and visit this weekend and make chocolate chip cookies. And somebody's going to say something negative about it.
Yeah, there was a post where I saw, this is a good one. There was a post where I saw, go look at Randy's Instagram and see who he follows. That'll tell you.
What?
Well, here's the bottom line.
Who
dum-dum.
would do that?
Yeah, who's the dum-dum that says that anyway? But here's the bottom line. This is why we're in this, Randy, because the common bond is the bass.
Yep.
When people lose focus of that, they lose focus why we're here. It doesn't matter. Man, did you see Randy follows Carlos Santana? Man, I like Jimi Hendrix. Screw Randy. It's not it.
So true, man.
Damn it. I like getting my producer all wearing. Look at Andy's forehead. Andy, put the camera on yourself so they can see the veins on your forehead when I yell. It's freaking amazing. But Randy, it's good to have you back here on the deal, man. I mean, bottom line, 209 tournaments alone in Bassmaster. And of course, there's your FLW tournaments. And I mean, you're a Derber. You're a Derber, bottom line. So with that being said, I want to get deep with you. I want to get deep. I know you're opinionated, and I want to really get kind of dig into the brain and the intellect of Randy. So,
sure.
Yeah, this is first. I would like to read to you an excerpt from Bass Wars, and I think you remember that book, Randy.
1985, man. That was over 30 years ago.
1980. Let me read this to you in the Bass Galaxy. It's a little story time. Are you ready? I put my spectacles on. I'm looking real Wayne's World right now. But there, in the rain and fog, I glimpsed a world I found immediately fascinating. The men returning from the lake had the aura of warriors. Their sharp-powered boats looked like chariots of war. As they emerged from the mist that enveloped the lake, they seemed to be escaping from the smoke of battle. Waiting for them on the shore were families, women and children, huddled under umbrellas, have expecting news from casualties. This is professional bass fishing. What do you think about that, Randy?
That was Nick Taylor, man.
Mick Taylor's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he traveled with us for an entire year. I mean, he roomed with us in our motel rooms. You know, when we were having 5 or 6 guys sleeping on the floor, you know, back in the day there. So he put a lot of work into that book, man. That was over a year's worth of effort just into that book. The producer here of this show, the Ginger Ninja, gave me this book a little while ago, and he said, "Man, I don't know if you ever read this one, but man, you got to get on it." And I knew glimpses of it and pieces of it, but I'm enveloped in it right now. It's a great book for anybody out there that hasn't read it. It's Bass Wars. It's got you in it, Randy, Rick Clunn, all kinds of greatness in there. Are you just now reading that after 30 years, man?
No, I read. I know. Go ahead and harp on me. I read parts of it before, but I have real trouble focusing and doing things for long periods of time. So they didn't have Bass Wars and Cliff Notes, but now that I'm able to actually sit down and do things,
do they have Bass Wars on tape?
Yeah, I might be able to do it. Yes, Ryan, on your drives to the Opens, you can listen to that and James on the way to the James and be inspired.
Narrated by Overstreet.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, cool time in Bassin history, man. 1985. So with all this being said, now it's time to get deep, Randy. I know you're a movie buff, okay? I know I know you like movies. So I'm gonna ask you a pretty deep question here. I need you to talk about the movie of your life. It's called Getting Randy. All right, that's the name of it. That's what I named it. It's called it's called Getting Randy, the Bassin Life. Yeah, baby. That's the
okay.
Not that Randy, but you Getting Randy, like understanding Randy. You know what I mean? Okay. So I need to ask you this. I need you to build the movie. First off, who's going to play the part of you, Randy? And second off, I need you to give me an opening scene, the scene of the origin of your bass in life, and then I need to give us a closing scene of a to be continued closing scene of your movie. Are you ready?
Man, it'd have to be Leonardo DiCaprio because he's my favorite actor. So it'd have to have Leo on there.
And he's got an island full of babes, each hair color, so absolutely Leonardo DiCaprio. Yes, thank you. Keep going.
Well, okay, so it would probably start out Leo wading Turkey Creek in Joplin, Missouri, back when he was 7 or 8 years old. You know, looking at bluegills, catching crawdads, looking at minnows, catching my first bass. Actually, on the old Rapalomena here.
Well, look at that.
Hey, I brought some of the old school stuff here just in case.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it'd probably be wading Turkey Creek back in the late 1960s, early 1970s.
Okay, so that's so who's playing like the young Leonardo DiCaprio? Who do we? Corey Haim or Corey Feldman? One of those guys?
Oh man,
Corey Johnston. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who that would be. That would have to be somebody. God, I'm not sure about who's the young actors now and actors.
Yeah, I don't either.
But if you can imagine a young Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's the opening scene. Now, what's the closing scene? The to be continued story. Randy Blockett.
To be continued. It would be Leo. It would be in some nature scene. It would be like. Maybe some Indian Native American flute music in the background.
Okay.
You know, totally pristine lake, maybe like Lake Mead, Lake Powell, Nevada.
I gotcha.
You know,
flipping tumbleweed,
sunset type of, yeah, just total nature boy type deal.
Yeah. All right. I gotcha. So it opens in nature.
That'd have to be it.
And it closes in nature. To be continued in nature. Nature's important.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. I mean, reality is found in nature, man. That's where it centers at. Everything else is sort of artificial, but in the purity of wilderness is when you find truth. I mean, that's where it exists completely in there.
100%. Like that was in the purity of wilderness is where you find truth. Yeah.
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 It is. I mean, and the Native Americans have known that forever. I mean, because unless you put yourself in that situation, away from all the dogma and the artificial reality that man has created, you can't ever, grasp a full appreciation of that. And so many people, they don't anymore because most people, their feet never leave the concrete. Literally, they get up in the morning, they walk on concrete all day long, and their feet never touch the earth. They're disconnected from that reality, and they don't get to experience it. I mean, we've sort of lost all of our natural instincts and senses, just in the society we've developed. And for me, I've had a chance to spend a lot of time in nature, a lot of time, more than most people like that. And yeah. I get sort of depressed if I don't have a chance to be out in it. I mean, just being out around the water and the open spaces, I just crave it. I still don't get enough of it, but it's
100% relate. I think most of us do. And a lot of our viewers and listeners out there hunt and fish. To me, it's a need to be on the water. Just being outside in nature doesn't do it for me. Like that's part of it. I need to be there, but the real quencher of the thirst is being on the water itself. That's when I actually feel real. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And when I'm on the water, I feel real. Like everything's right.
It makes you feel alive, and that's the one of the things I can notice with my. And by the way, I want to say hey to Kim and Elijah. They're home watching right now. But
hey,
my wife Kim and Elijah. But anyway, seeing Elijah when he goes to the creek or if he goes to the lake or something. I mean, just that childlike wonderment and mind. I just wish we could keep that our whole lives. I mean, just that newness and that freshness and, seeing a bug on the water and just the wonder from that. I mean, that's the thing that we sort of lost a lot.
Yeah, it's real and it's pure. And let me say, it's not that we don't feel real as humans at other times. maybe the word would be we feel more complete when we're in our element. You know what I'm saying? When we have that completeness.
Yeah.
Like when we're on the water. Randy, did you freeze up there a minute? I think Randy froze in suspended animation like Han Solo on the and Cartman.
One of my favorite things, talking about feeling complete, like we have these winters up here where you're not floating on water for a few months. And then it's always like the first time.
It's something.
The first time in the spring when you float in a boat, you're just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, this is what was wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's you start to feel like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It's the feeling
Yeah.
you know as a fisherman that you're supposed to be. What did we lose? Oh, there's Randy. Whoop! I think he's muted now. Unmute it, Randy.
Yeah. Okay.
There you are. Hey. Okay.
Sorry about that. I don't know. I got the signal here in the motel room I'm at is not very good.
Yeah, no need to apologize. It's fine. The water completes us. That's where we were. The water completes us.
Yeah, definitely so. And that's one of the things, I do a lot of these, I work with Johnny Schultz at Fish the Moment, and we do these on the water lessons, and we get people from all walks of life in there. I mean, we get doctors, lawyers, people in high stress jobs. And you can just see them, man, when they get out on the water and they get away from that, you can just see how therapeutic it is. And being on the water, man, it's healing. It is. It's healing to everybody. I've never seen anybody that doesn't respond to that on some level.
Dude,
And there's value to that. I mean, you can't discount how important that is in our lives.
Let me give you a beautiful example. Our friend Aaron Martins. Just that need to be on the water is a healing medicine to him right now. It's a perfect example of it, man. I mean, amazing that again, I want to bring it back. That's the common bond we share, man. That's the common bond. People need to remember that the being on the water, whether it's on the bank or on the water, we're chasing the fish, and that's the common bond. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty.
Yeah. All the differences that we have as people, and you see that on social media, that just sort of goes away when you're on the water. Because, excuse me, I could go fishing with some of my biggest haters out there. I promise you, if they spent a day with me in the boat, you'd bond. I mean, you'd have a common bond together. So it's that sort of washes all that stuff away.
When people miss that, they block the purity. So you have to. Here's the thing, Randy. It's something that I've learned from some very smart people, and it's about acceptance. And this is how I look at it personally, and it was taught to me. We, as humans, to progress, accept things, or we should accept things. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to lay down and be a doormat about it. You don't have to like it, but you have to realize that that's a person being them. And you have to, you be you, and they be them. And that's all there is to it. You have to realize that, it's, I guess it's an acceptance. It goes back to something that my grandpa Paul used to tell me all the time. And he'd say, they're okay, lock me up. Like, they're the crazy ones, so get me away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's acceptance. Hey, but let's get on to a little Randy Blockett history right here. Okay, we started with a little Bass Wars, but let's go delve back. Here's something else I want to point out to any Elite Series anglers or tournament fishermen that might be listening to this show. And I mean no disrespect by this, Randy. You came into the game in '85, and you didn't do the best. You kind of struggled a bit, man, and you finally came into your own. 80. What was Bugs Island? 89. 89. I mean, that's when it really happened for you. But you persevered prior. Okay. I mean, feel free to disagree with me. I'm calling it like I kind of see it. You struggled some.
The 85-86 season was my first season at Bass, and I qualified for the Bassmaster Classic my rookie year there.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 years, I just absolutely sucked. And I'm not really sure what the deal is. I was still going through the learning curve. But in '89, when I won that first tournament at Bugs Island, Bassmaster Top 150, that's when things just sort of shifted a little bit. I mean, you can't ever discredit, what a win can do for your confidence. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, and there's
It's like getting laid.
What? Excuse me.
It's like getting laid. I mean, I'm serious. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the thing about that, it's like there's some type. Nobody has really figured it out what this magical element that confidence does to get yourself on some type of a roll. And it's the same if you get in a slump. Nobody has really identified what that is. And that's one of the things that happened after that Bugs Island, tournament. I got onto sort of a roll that lasted for a while with that, ups and downs. I've always been a streaky fisherman because, that's just sort of how I fish. I usually stay with things that I think can produce bigger fish. And when you do that, you can fall on your butt a lot. So
yeah, no, you swing for the fences, as many of the as many of the greats in the biz have.
Davey Hyde.
But here's what I want to say about that first season. And again, I meant no disrespect by that, and I did know you qualified for 86. In fact, who's the what's the guy's name? Hines.
What are you talking about?
Wasn't it? Didn't Hines win that one?
Randy?
Yeah.
Which one was?
Well, what was the? No, it was the 86. It was the older dude that won it. The 86 Classic. Who won?
The 86 Classic was Charlie
Reed.
Charlie Reed. That's right. That Charlie Reed won. He's
I didn't know you were looking for the Classic one.
He won. He was like 50 years old or something when he won. I remember.
Yeah, and that's when I met my buddy Danny Crea. Danny finished second in the Classic, and that's when we started rooming together after that. And Danny should have won that tournament. Actually, this was back in the day when he was catching and flipping the matted grass down there at Chickamauga. And he was using like a 6.5 foot rod with 14-pound test line punching mats. And he tried to swing a 5-pounder over the side of the boat, and it broke his line.
Oh, so no.
He only missed winning by a couple ounces. He should have won that tournament if he had just a 20-pound line on.
Unreal. You know what else I remember about that Classic is 85 Classic winner Jack Chancellor. He dropped his boat, or the press or something dropped his boat on the ramp. Do you remember that?
I remember reading about it. I wasn't in the tournament, but I remember reading about it.
Yeah, jeez. No, in the 86 Classic they did it.
I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it was the 8 because he won in 85, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Chancellor's 85.
Chancellor's 85, do nothing worm. And then in 86, I think he might have got taken out of the event. I'm not 100% sure, but
I remember
the press dropped. I think the press dropped his boat on the ramp or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember seeing it on the ramp or a picture of it or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, 86 Classic, man. That was it. I mean, and then the other Bassmaster Classic that you won was XXVIII. Or not one we're in was XXXVII. That's the Classic that taught us all to flip tubes. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was the one that then he got lucky that I lost 2 hogs in that tournament. So I remember that very well.
I know you do. That was a flippers derb. As a flippers derb, no doubt about it. Hey, and then Bugs Island, dude. As far as what were they called? Bass 100s, 150s.
That was a mega bucks, wasn't it?
That was the top 150.
150.
The Bugs Island one was.
Yeah.
That was the top 150. Top 100. Yeah.
Yeah, they had hundreds and 150s, right? Before the elites.
Yeah.
Okay, got
They
it.
switched it to 150s, I believe, like in 92 or 93, something like that.
Okay, gotcha. And I mean, Bugs Island. We on the Straycast Instagram and Facebook, there were some vintage Bassmaster clips of you flipping, dude. And I mean,
that's old school as it gets, man. Pork frog, 1/2 ounce jig, 30-pound line. That's just didn't get any more old school than that.
What was the jig? Like a lunker lure back then, or something?
That was an Alron flipping jig because my mentor Terry Thomas, that Alron lures out of Truman Lake, Missouri, with a #1 pork frog, 30-pound test high vis strand line.
The #1. Okay, that's
Number
the
one.
jumbo.
Yeah, that's all I used to use, man, back in the day.
How awesome is that? And look at the progression now. Well, so that brings us to progression regression. Do you still flip the pork frog? Do you got jars hidden?
You know, I had the biggest stockpile of pork frogs you've ever seen. I had so many pork frogs, I kept them in a big Tupperware container. I had hundreds of them in there. And they all, I don't know what happened, but they all, their legs curled up and got hard. And I had to throw them all away. Then they quit making pork. So I don't have any more pork. They started making it again. Kim got me a couple bottles last fall, but it's not quite the same as the old Uncle Josh pork. I don't know. Even though it's Uncle Josh, it's just not the same quality.
Huh.
But I'm surprised somebody hasn't came out with a super high quality pork, because that there is a gold mine waiting there in the fishing market. I promise you there would be a huge market for that if it was done right.
100%. Look at Ryan Whitaker's eyes gleaming over here.
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. Yeah. Hey, do you still flip 30-pound mono?
No,
that was a joke.
25 Seaguar and Vizex is my main flipping line now.
Okay.
The 30-pound mono was amazing.
That was my favorite part of that clip, is when you jacked that fish and then you could just tell there's so much stretch. Couldn't even move the fish. Well, that's
just wallowing.
That was back. The rod that I had in that tournament, it was Gary Klein and I were using the same rods. It was made by this dude in California.
Yeah, forehand.
And those were fiberglass flipping sticks.
Yeah, that was forehand rod you had there, a rich forehand.
Yeah, and he got me using these fiberglass flipping sticks, and they weighed a ton. Those things, they weighed like 3 pounds, they felt like. But, that was... we didn't know any better, man. That's what we just had to work with back then.
Yeah, dude, and
with fiberglass and mono.
No, dude, and then Klein even had like the 9-foot fiberglass flip stick.
Yep.
He won that FLW 99 Mississippi River on that one.
Yep, I had that rod too.
Yeah,
the handle was bigger than a baseball bat. I could barely get my hand around the handle. It was a surf blank, a surf rod blank.
Yes.
Oh my god!
And then
it was so heavy, you just about had to flip it with 2 hands. It was super heavy.
That's why you got those Popeye forearms, I think, Randy.
Yeah, it's just those 9-foot flipping sticks are not easy to work.
And then the next year, 2000, you guys were right back on the Mississippi River again. I think were you in Tunica?
That's the one that I ran 190 miles one way every day.
Yeah, that was insane, dude. Insane.
That was crazy. You can't, unless you were on that run with me, you can't believe how crazy that was. Because I'm telling you guys, the Mississippi River from St. Louis south, it's a dangerous place. You can't even tell when you're driving across the Mississippi River, but that place has got giant whirlpools on it. You have 3 and 4 foot drops in the elevation of the river. There's floating logs, there's dikes. It's a dangerous run, and it gets super rough because you've got a 6 mile an hour current going against like a 30 mile an hour south wind. And that place, it's just so dangerous, man.
It was, I think it was you, Klein, Height.
Yep.
What a derp. Roland Martin. I mean, I don't know if he made the final date, but man, and your fish left you. Like I think the water dropped out of the bush as you were flipping or something.
I was fishing super shallow willows, and the water dropped out of them, but I blew, they gave us a top 10 boat. We had to use the FLW boats, and I blew the motor the last day of that tournament in that FLW boat. So I only had like 20 minutes to fish that last day of the tournament after we got the new boat in there.
Really?
So it was.
What I remember about the clip too was you're like, man, these fish left. You were like you were scratching your head a little. You're kind of in disbelief that you couldn't get a bite, even though the water had dropped. And then I remember back then you had the co-anglers with you in there, and he was just saying something dumb. He was a local, and he was saying something dumb, and I'm like, man, I feel bad for Randy because this guy's spewing some BS right now and not helping Randy's confidence. And he was saying something like, yeah, you're pretty much screwed when that water falls out. I've been here a million times when that happened. You ain't gonna catch shit. And I was like, oh, damn it.
It was, anytime you make the top 10, it's a good one though. But that run, I'll never forget that run, man. That was the most epic run that I don't know if anyone can equal that run. Davey Height and I made on that.
Yeah, I mean,
190 miles?
100 one way and doing it for 4 days in a row, back and forth. That third day of the tournament, the second day, the third day of the tournament, the second, it took me 4.5 hours to get back.
Oh
I caught a limit like in 15 minutes and turned around and left. And it was so rough getting back, I just had to take my time and slow down. Had gas tanks strapped all over the back of the boat. Man, it was crazy.
That's what I was going to ask. if
yeah,
they let you do
they
that
didn't
back
talk
then.
about that on. Jerry didn't mention that when he was in the helicopter, did he?
I had gas cans strapped on the back deck everywhere. I had the floor of the boat full of gas cans. It was epic, man. It was hardcore as it gets.
That's what a bassin man has to do. That's what a bassin man.
Here's an interesting story. I met my super great friend Rodney Schmolak at that tournament. The 30-year sergeant major in the Army Rangers, and that second day of the tournament when we ran back in that rough water. It was so rough that when we got back, Rodney had blisters all over his butt, and he literally had. He said he had so many blisters from hanging on in the rough water that he had to lay down in the back seat, and his wife had to drive him home because he had blisters. And this is an Army Ranger, so you know how bad it was.
Yeah, that's
a butt blister. I never even heard of that.
out of the motel room because my butt was sore from the first day, so I sat on a pillow the whole run back.
Wow.
And it was just from holding yourself in the boat for 3 hours wide open in rough water.
Yeah,
I mean,
just white knuckling. Unreal.
Oh, yeah, the friction was unbelievable.
I couldn't imagine a run like that. Yeah. No doubt about it, man. Hey, okay, on to 2002. All right, here's a derb I remember. I want to backtrack a little because it would be amiss if I didn't mention this, but I think a lot of the bass fishing galaxy and some of you out there will remember this. It was a season of Bassmasters, and you were kind of featured in there and the season. You were, and again, I go off this Rain Man stuff a lot of times that I have going here, but wasn't there a season of the Bassmasters when you were featured on there as like the up and comer or something like that?
Yeah, there's something I can't remember. Ray Scott did something with that. I can't remember what year it was. Yeah.
And it was probably right there at the beginning, 85 or 86 or something. It was
something like that. It was early on. Yeah,
it was definitely in the TNN era. I know that.
Yep.
I know that, and I think that's when the world kind of got introduced, maybe at first, to you, Randy Blockett. But let's move up to 2002, and this is a derby I don't think any bass fan will forget, and especially you, the time you lost to an ounce to the legend Denny Brower.
Hey, yeah, I'll tell you that, but that wasn't the one that hurt the most. The one that hurt the most was the week before that at the Ranger M1 tournament.
Okay,
that was the one I was eligible to win $900,000.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And Pat, I actually, even though history shows David Dudley won that tournament, I won that tournament by over 10 pounds as far as cumulative weight.
That's when they dropped.
Back when they cut it. They changed it to cumulative weight the year after that. But that Dudley beat me by 5 ounces the last day of that tournament. But if it would have been a cumulative weight, I'd have won by 10 pounds. And I'd have won $900,000.
Unreal.
And then the next week I go and Denny beats me by an ounce because I had 4 3-ounce gizzard shad spit up in my boat the last day of the tournament.
Oh my goodness.
And losing 2 5-pounders that last day.
No wonder you don't like the shad spawn. I just saw that video.
Hey, what was second place in that M1 tournament?
I won $110,000 per second. But that deal right there.
It's only $800,000.
That affected me mentally so much. I went into a bad slump after that for several years. I could not mentally and emotionally get past the fact that I just left $900,000 on the table.
Oh,
it was such an emotional punch in the gut. I can't even imagine.
What happened the last day? What happened the last day?
The last day of the tournament, I was leading it the first day. I led it the second day. Then they cut to the top 10, right?
Okay.
So we had the top 10 day, and I led it after the top 10 day. I had 15 pounds or 14 something the third day. Second place was 8 pounds. Dudley had 8 pounds for second. So I was leading 3 days in a row. The last day of the tournament, we cut it down to the top 5, and they scratched the weights back to 0.
Yeah.
I get up to my spot, and I catch 15 and a half. And the camera dude that was there, he lived on the river, and he said, man, that's the biggest sack I've ever seen weighed in. And so I'm running 60 miles back to weigh-in thinking, man, I just won almost $1 million. And I get in there, and what had happened, and this is what I've heard happen. I don't know. You'd have to consult with Dudley on that. But apparently Dudley heard about or found out about this creek that he had to chainsaw his way in on.
Oh yeah,
the last day of the tournament. He hadn't been in there before. I don't know exactly how he heard about it or found it, but he got in there, wound up catching 15 something, and beat me by 4 or 5 ounces. That last day in there. So
yeah, that was. I guess. A W is a W, but I don't know if I agree with zeroing weights either. Look what happened. Look what happened to Clun in 2000. The same. He would have won the Mississippi River one that we were just talking about. But I think Klein won it. But Clun would have won if you carried the weights over for all the days.
Oh yeah, the cumulative weight's the only way to have a tournament. That starting from scratch, that is an unfair tournament. I'd have won 3 FLW tour events if it had been a cumulative weight back when they, scratched them from 0. So it's I'm a little sensitive about that.
No, I agree. I think that's a true test of the best when you cut the weight and when you don't cut the weight and it's cumulative.
There's a lot of times people will say like, well, it's the same for everybody, but that doesn't really make sense in that scenario. It's the same for everybody, but now you just turn it into a one-day tournament.
Yeah, it's because you can get lucky one day, but you usually can't get lucky for 4, and you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. That's
absolutely.
The 4 days eliminates the luck, and I think that's why that Ray Scott implemented that carried weight from the initiative. But anyway, Randy Blockett, you got a lot of history, bud. A lot of history.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time, man. It's been a long time. I got a lot of stories to tell, that's for sure. But it's, the thing about it, pro fishing, it's like I told my wife Kim. It's like I do not want my son Elijah being a pro fisherman, because pro fishing, there are so many ups and downs to it. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's full of stress. It's full of joy. It's full of exhilaration. You experience every emotion you have as a human, but man, it is just all over the place mentally and emotionally. You got to love it, man. If you don't love it, then you got no business even considering doing it.
It's a special breed of person that can be a tournament fisherman.
It's a special breed that can do it for a long time, because anybody can do it for a short term. But, if you do it for a long term, you're going to have so many challenges, that most people just don't want to have to deal with.
I can't handle it. I can't. That's why I'm a bass fishing talk show host, for crying out loud. Randy. I don't even want to get up early.
It's something else, man. It's just that, when you're like I was when you're 10 years old and you just live it and breathe it, and that's all you ever wanted to do, man. You have to go for your dreams, whatever they are.
100%. And it doesn't matter if you're going for your dreams when you're 10 or if you're a grown man.
Yeah.
In fishing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And everybody's career progresses. That's the one thing great now. I'm working with Johnny Schultz in his Fish the Moment YouTube channel, and we're doing a lot of instructional teaching. So I'm sort of transitioning more into the teaching role now, out of the tournament mode. I'm still fishing tournaments, and I still love fishing tournaments, but it's like my passion has sort of shifted a little bit into teaching now.
Gotcha.
And doing that through Fish the Moment.
Hey, let's do a little 20 questions. You want to let's dig deeper into the brain of Randy Blockett. Andy, you got any 20 question music? Oh, wow. It's 70s gizmo music. All right. Let's get to know Randy Blockett, bass fishing legend. All right, you got to answer these completely truthful. You got no BS, Randy. No BS whatsoever. All right. If you could change a moment in bass fishing history, besides the derb, I'm talking about overall, the global aspect of bass fishing, the history of bass fishing. If you could change a moment besides the M1 derb, what would it be?
You mean as far as myself, or just
No,
the industry?
globally in the history of bass fishing, if you could alter a moment for the better, obviously, what would it be? I know it's a tough question.
It would. No, I can tell you exactly what it'd be. It would be basically Ray Scott not selling bass, and bass being like the only tournament organization out there.
Yeah.
It's and the reason I say that is like we're so segmented right now as an industry that like everybody's a professional fisherman. There's no measure of what a professional fisherman is or who's a professional angler. But back when Ray Scott had bass back in the 80s, in the heyday of it, there was no question. There was only one set of pro anglers that defined it, and now it's just all over the place. There's more pro circuits out there and tournaments that I don't even know what it is.
And I get you, and opportunities abound for everyone. But my next question was, do you think there should only be one league? I don't know, but I mean that was the next question.
Just like there's most professional sports, like the PGA has one league. Most pro sports do that, and we don't. I mean, we've got so many different leagues and so many different levels that I can't keep up with it. I do this for a living and I still can't keep up with it.
Yeah, you know what? And again, I want to tell you, man, the 100% 5 fish cumulative weight.
Yep.
That's how you determine a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And giant crowds, giant rock star crowds.
Yep.
I mean, that's the deal. That's bassing.
Yep.
Hey, do you feel that you have to be a natural to be a guide in bass fishing? You're a guide as well. I mean, you guided on Okeechobee way back in the day. You guide, in Missouri. You guide. Do you have to be a natural fisherman? Yeah. You got to be a natural fisherman, or can you learn to be a guide?
I think you can learn to be a guide. You have to have some people skills with that, and you have to have the ability to locate fish that other people can catch, not the ones you can catch. So, guiding is completely different than just fishing in general, because boat positioning is different as far as catching. You gotta find the type of fish that you can fish with 3 people on the boat, where one person just doesn't get everything.
Gotcha.
So you can definitely
lots of Ned rigs flying around.
Yeah. Ned rigs,
lots of wacky rigs,
and Cinco de Mayos.
And Cinco de Mayos, exactly right. I was just curious. It seems like I mean, it might seem a little obvious too, but a lot of people that are good at guiding are very natural fishermen. Not just bassing, but take any species of fish. They're just they naturally fish. It seems to happen that way.
Yeah, and part of the guiding experience is teaching people about fishing. Even though even if they don't catch a lot of fish, if they can take away something they learned from it that helps them down the road, that's even more valuable than catching fish the day they're out there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an old saying.
Exactly right.
There's an old saying.
Let's go back into the wilderness. Andy, you got some wilderness music, like the what's the one with the coyotes and the wolves? Yeah, let's go into the wilderness here. All right, now I got to ask you this. You hear the nature, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in your progression as a bass angler, how important was you studying Rick Clunn? How important was you as an angler studying Rick Clunn as an angler?
Clun, I mean, the thing that I learned so much from Rick is basically, and people talk about Clun's mental approach, but it's more about his awareness. That's the one thing I've learned about Rick more than anything else, is expanding your awareness for what is going on in the water, because that's everything in it, as far as absorbing all the information that you're getting externally and internally, how you're feeling inside when you roll up into an area, what the clues nature's giving you, what their fish are telling you about how they're hooked, the position in their mouth. And that's what I learned a lot about, from Rick on there, is expanding my awareness on the water.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he was really the first to do that, I think, a lot.
100%.
He was the first to verbalize it.
Yes,
I
to
think
vocalize it. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, a lot of people do it subconsciously, but he verbalized it. And back, in the early 90s, when Rick and I went to a series of the wilderness survival schools, I mean, that's when we were sort of at the height of it, really trying to incorporate it into our fishing with that. Yeah. And that's only part of it. It's not like you can just do that and all of a sudden become a great angler. It's just part of the puzzle a little bit.
And a lot of that was derived off of the ancient Indian practices and principles, right?
The whole awareness of it. I mean, that's a skill that we've lost in our society, is being aware of what's going on in our natural world. And, the Indians, they were masters of that. People think just because, they, were primitive tribes thousands of years ago, they weren't smart. They were ingenious. They were creative. They were masters of their environment. They were master herbalists. They just, super, super smart people. If you don't believe me, go, or not you, but if people don't believe me, go out and, walk into the wilderness and see if you can live out there for a year on your own with nothing from man, and see how long you last with that. Then you appreciate their skills.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. You know what's going on once you experience the intuitiveness. I don't know how else to put it. Let me ask you this. Now, this is kind of weird. Do you believe in mood and mind altering medicines as the Indians did to expand yourself as an angler?
I've never really pursued that as far as like the peyote or anything like that.
I'm just curious where you took it to. I didn't know if you and Clun were tripping out and what you were doing. I didn't know.
A lot of the Indians, as far as, they've got different type of rituals, pain rituals and all that type of stuff. But when you get into that gets into some type of a ritualistic, mode that I don't even know if I don't know how functional or practical that is. I mean, I'm not really into that too much.
I mean, that's Jim Morrison Indian stuff right there, is what's going on. The scattered Indians.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. No, I haven't taken it to the level of the peyote
yet. Someday. Maybe not. Hey, what do you got to get? Let's shift gears. What do you got against the Carolina rig?
Well, the Carolina rig, number one, it's super boring to fish. Most of the time, you're fishing offshore with it most of the time, which is not my favorite way to fish. It's a pain to rig up all the time. Okay. I've caught a ton of big fish on a Carolina rig. It's not like I haven't caught them on it. I just don't like to fish it. I mean, I just don't. I don't look for that type of water very much.
I got you. I get. So
it's not really.
It's just style. Not. It's not in Randy's repertoire.
You don't see many guys fishing it.
It's boring. It's pointless. It doesn't even work.
It's there's a lot of people chasing
everything.
They're chasing the brown bass with the red eyes with that Carolina rig these days. I hear that
does not work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Hey, do you consider yourself opinionated, Randy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you feel you have the right to be opinionated?
Yeah, I think everybody does. I think that, it's, when you talk about opinions, I love to have an intellectual, respectful discussion or debate with people. When you're talking about, subjects that may be controversial, that's the thing that I get into, is when you have like a spirited, like I said, respectful discussion about it, because I don't care what somebody's viewpoint is. I don't care how opposite it is of mine. If you can just treat each other with mutual respect and hear each other's sides out, then that's great on there. But the things that I have no patience for, and the people that I block off my social media, are the people that just attack the messenger for expressing their opinion, and they ignore the subject, or they ignore what the topic is about. And you see that a lot on social media.
Sure.
You can talk about anything. You can give an opinion on something, and instead of somebody saying, well, yeah, I can see it that way, but what about this way? Do you consider this? And a lot of people say, oh, you're an idiot for saying that. And
immediately,
it's just like their parents haven't taught them to play nice with others.
Well, it gives people a lot of balls. The internet
standing behind
too.
the Facebook. Yeah. Everyone's opinionated though. If you say you're not, it means you never disagreed with somebody.
I hear you, but people always refer to Randy as very opinionated. I'm just saying. I wanted to hear his view on it. And especially. Well, let's just say it. They're like, Randy's crying about the live scope again. There he is again, bitching about the electronics. Here's the thing.
When you're talking about whining and the complaining, it's like people have to be able to differentiate between something that's complaining or trying to improve the situation.
Okay.
If you're talking about a topic and it seems like you're complaining, but you're offering a counter viewpoint and say, hey, why don't we try it this way? Or have you considered this particular situation or option? Then it's not complaining. I mean, if people didn't do that, then we'd accept the status quo with anything that came up in our lives. You just say,
there wouldn't be punk rock, Randy.
Yeah, you're just bringing up questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's different, man. Everybody's an individual. Everybody comes from a different background. Everybody was raised with different belief systems. So there's going to be differences. We're not going to agree on everything all the time.
Tell me what you think of this. Get this. I want to talk about this live scope, this Panoptics, this whatever you call it. We had Christie Jason Christie was on the show last week, and when he won that derb on St. Clair. The Elite Series event on St. Clair. He was using the Panoptics, and he said, I told people back then I saw every fish I caught. And nobody believed me. Nobody even paid attention to it. And back then it was the Panoptics, and now it's evolved into the live scan and live scope, and people are paying attention to it. So I got to ask you this, Randy. Because of all the point counterpoint, like for example, you get a guy like Patty Walters kicking ass on it, catching a bunch of fish on it, but you get a guy like John Cox kicking ass without it. So is it like, are you dead nuts against it, and why? I just don't understand. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me.
Here's my point of view on it, and I've talked about this a lot on my YouTube channel, but. I'm a purist in the sport, because here's the thing about it. We have live scope right now in the year 2021. Look where we were 30 years ago when everybody had Humminbird flashers or Lowrance
30-pound mono.
30-pound mono. And
fiberglass flip sticks.
We're at Panoptics right now. Okay, what does it look like? What does the sport look like another 30 or 40 years down the road as far as technology?
Glass bottom bass boats.
Yeah.
Well,
Ghost of Doug Hannon leading us to giant bass.
Well, yeah, here's going to be the deal. You're going to, 30 years from now or whatever, if we still have bass in the lakes that we fish around here, if we don't stop polluting everything, but 30 years from now, they're going to look back at a live scope and say that's archaic. That's like a flasher was that we consider now. And at that point, bass fishing becomes more of a commercial venture. It doesn't become a sport. And people fish, and I see this a lot, Pat, on my YouTube channel. I see the comments from guys, is when people fish because there's an aspect of mystery to it.
Yeah.
They want the unknown. That's the attraction of fishing, is when you fish, you're not really sure what's out there. And that's the thing that is so, fundamental and pure about fishing is the mystique and the mystery that goes with it. When you take away that and you basically make fishing a commercial venture through technology, you're robbing everybody of the intrinsic value in fishing. And that's, to me, that's the point that I'm making. I'm not arguing that the equipment is unbelievable, but I mean, at what point do we say, okay, we got to rein this in a little bit? You drop something in the water at some point and you can see every fish around you, and you just, and I know you still have to make them bite, but that's not the point. But I just think that we need to rein it back a little bit. I mean, every other sport out there does it. Every single sport in this country has got equipment limitations.
There needs to be a governor.
You're right.
Yeah. A governor like in a rental U-Haul. Yeah.
Yeah, to preserve, the sport, the tradition of the sport. And I just think we're getting away from that. And on top of that, the cost. I mean, you're talking about $20,000 worth of electronics on these boats. Yet, and I always go back to this, they won't allow me to get out of my boat and put a rope around my waist and pull it over a sandbar. That's illegal for me to do in a tournament.
Right.
But you can spend it. Yeah.
It's a strong point.
Another thing. I could rant on this all the time, but say, for example, in professional bowling, that somebody developed a bowling ball that would track perfectly into the pocket every time. And this bowling ball cost $500,000, and you couldn't win unless you had it. But some people can't afford a $500,000 bowling ball. That's sort of the way it is right now with the electronic technology. You've got these guys. I get notes all the time from kids starting out in the sport, and they say, I just don't have money. My mom's raising me. I'm a single parent, kid. They don't have the ability that's afforded to a lot of the people out there. So there's such a huge financial gap as far as in the opportunity, like for young anglers starting out. And that's one thing I don't like about it, because at that point it becomes an elitist sport. And at that point, kids like me, when I was 18 years old that didn't have any money, they don't have a chance, man. If you don't have money when you're getting started out in the sport, you cannot make it in pro fishing like you could back when, I did it back in the early 80s. I don't like that progression for a lot of different reasons.
Okay. And I get it. I respect it too.
A great example of what you're talking about other sports doing it, like the Houston Astros last year getting busted for stealing signs, for stealing pitches.
Yes.
Knowing what pitch is coming, people were saying, well, you still got to hit it. It's kind of the same thing. You can see the fish, you still got to catch it. But that is a huge advantage to know what's there. And I mean,
but it's not.
I see what you're saying. And right now, I have no problem with it. But I know what you're saying about where's it going. Because if it gets too
it could
ridiculous,
get wild. It could. But right now, there's still more derves being won without it. Bottom line. Now,
in this schedule,
But does it account for more fish from anglers than we know about? Yeah, it does.
They're seeing them shallow too.
They're seeing them. And let me tell you this, Randy. I accept your opinion and respect your opinion. I might not share that opinion, but I might consider it different because I'm just getting into electronics. Like I was using my 8-foot flip stick to tell bottom hardness and depth up to 2 years ago. And now I just finally got a locator, so now I'm intrigued by it. But I'm still shallow, I'm not fishing more than 4 feet. So, but that's where I'm at on that, man. But fishing's different, man. We got to progress. Look at it this way, Randy. Look at 1985, Randy Blockett, and then jump to 2021, Randy Blockett, YouTube guy. You're a YouTube guy. Who would have thought that? I mean, I don't know. And I saw your YouTube, like you had a channel for a while, and then all of a sudden it just boom, your YouTube channel took off. People wanted to hear what Randy had to say, and you love it. I could tell you love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I didn't when I started it. I didn't know how good it would go across. And one of the things that helped my channel out a lot is, since I'm working with Johnny Schultz on his Fish the Moment YouTube channel, I've gotten a lot of crossovers from Johnny's channel on that. But I just love sharing info like that. I mean, because the comments I get as far as people saying, I get it all the time. It's like, man, I tried the tip that you gave me and I went out and I caught a 7-pounder last week on it.
That's awesome.
I'm at the age now, man. I'm almost 60 years old. I'm at the age now where that to me is more rewarding than hiding a secret that I used to catch a few fish 10 years ago. So I'm sort of transitioning into that role of teacher, mentor, sharing all the stuff that I've learned for the last 40 or 50 years fishing right now. That's sort of what's really rewarding to me. And that's the good thing about these tournaments, because I share a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel about my tournament fishing because, it doesn't make any difference if I suck in the tournament or do good, they can still learn something from that. And that's sort of what I'm doing right now.
And I have a problem with YouTube. Like, and I should clarify. I don't have a problem with YouTube. I have a problem with some of the players on YouTube. And I think the problem for me arises when the players forget that they're there because of the bass. And that's why I like watching your stuff, because it's nothing but bass orientated. I mean, it's teaching you stuff at the moment. Like kind of like you remember, like you mentioned, Randy, we used to have to wait for a Bassmaster to learn something,
Yeah.
And young Randy was reading that Bassmaster, but now you're able to give that information that you once consumed.
You can, Pat, right now, you can literally learn more about bass fishing in one afternoon of watching YouTube videos than it took me and you a decade to learn on the water or more. It's the information accessibility out there has completely altered the sport. That's why you see so many 20-year-old kids that can compete against guys that have had 40 years experience. I mean, they absorb and they assimilate that information, immediately. And it's a different world, man, completely.
Yeah, I mean, and that brings me to my next question. What is the biggest thing that you have learned from you because of your YouTube project? Like, what have you learned about you or about your fishing?
The thing that I've learned is, like, before I thought there was some advantage into hoarding secrets, because a lot of the stuff that I share on my YouTube channel are things that I've learned from blood, sweat, and tears over the years. It took me, tens of thousands of dollars to learn, and traveling all over the country. And so I've learned that if I share that, it's okay. I don't have to hoard that information like I used to anymore. So I've slowly started giving this information away, and it feels good doing that. I just don't feel like I've got to hide it, away like I used to for years and try to keep it a closely guarded secret, because it's time for other people to learn from that, share with that.
So you might have sandbagged back in the day and told people you were using a number 11, but you were really using a number 1.
Well, no, I didn't lie. I just didn't divulge information. I just would not talk about it. If I had some techniques that worked really good, I just kept quiet about it, because back then that's what my entire income was derived from tournament fishing. I mean, I didn't have any other source of income. So I was under a tremendous amount of pressure to perform every single tournament.
Right out of college
what's that?
You were right out of college and into pro bassing. And right now, Randy, I'd like to introduce you and the rest of the Bassin Galaxy right now to Bass College champ Jack Dice. Give it up for Jack.
Hey guys,
what's going on, Jack?
Hey, Jack. Hey, man.
Yeah, Jack just won the college derb, a team derb, Randy, on his own by himself.
That is awesome.
He
man,
doubled down.
That is stiff competition there, man. That's just like tour level. Congratulations, man.
Well, I don't know about that, but I was certainly happy to win. So thank you so much.
200 something boats. I know you're being humble, but it was 200 something boats, Jack, and heck of a job there on the old Cumberland, bud. Real good, bud.
Thank you. I mean, if shoot, I was happy to win. It was tough to me. It wasn't easy for me.
We bring you on here, and it's kind of like we're talking about the progression and also the regression of bass fishing, Jack, and I kind of we know how progression we can learn. It can help, and it can sometimes hinder, maybe, but now I gotta ask Randy this question here, and I'd like to maybe have you put your thinking cap on. How can regression be positive in bass fishing? How can regression be positive, Randy?
Well, yeah, I think that it can be positive in the sense that sometimes you need to get back to your roots and your strengths, because in one of the things, the problems I had in my career is I became too versatile. It's like I tried to learn every single technique out there, and instead of being great at one or two things, I became just good at a lot of different things. So if you go back to the things that you love to do and they are your strengths, a lot of times you can go back and get recentered on that.
Yeah, and Jack, I know you're a young angler and just getting into the game, and quite grandly by the way with your victory, but like, I mean, can regression help you? Does that even make sense to you right now as an angler?
Well, I'm really my thinking cap's getting a little tight because I'm having to think hard about what you actually mean by that. But I think it does, going back to like what Randy was talking about earlier about what the love of the game is. I think it's easy, even in these college tournaments, to see that like the competition becomes this drive where you lose sight of what brought us all here in the first place, which was when we feel that little tick on the end of our line, like that is like magical.
Yeah.
And so that in itself, sometimes for me, that means just not tournament fishing, just taking time to just go out and fun fish is really key for me, and not worry about all the latest things, all the latest techniques. Sometimes it just means putting a worm, putting a plastic worm on a hook and go catching some bass.
Yeah, then that's a beautiful example of how regression can help you. Getting back to the roots when Jack was a boy walking the pond with a T-rig, that's, I mean.
Hours and hours walking the pond.
Hey, Randy, I mean, let's face it, college bassing is a big deal right now. I mean, when you were in college, you had to have a fake degree, just like I did, so we could bass fish. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's now there's actually bass fishing in college. Think of how that would have been amazing. What do you think about that, Randy?
I'm so impressed with the skill levels of the college anglers and high school anglers right now. I guarantee, Jack knows 1,000 times more about bass fishing at his age than I did when I was his age. There's not even any comparison. And it's, and that's the thing about it. That's the thing about life in general. Every generation that comes after our own generation is a little bit smarter, a little bit quicker. So, and that's the case that it is right now that you see with, the college anglers that are out there. They're just better than we were at our age,
Yeah. It's so amazing what is there in front of us to grasp and learn from daily. I live in a pretty I live a sheltered life. My life consists of I really do. I mean, it's bassin' babes and then bassin' and then bassin' and that's all. That's pretty much it. And I find when you focus that way, at the task at hand, that you do better in life, whatever it is. Jack, tournament fishing, your studies, YouTube channels, if you focus on the task at hand, we do better. Now I bring this back to you, Randy, and I'd like you to explain this to Jack. And this is a very, it's an intricate tournament strategy developed by Mr. Clun, and it's called total immersion of the game. Total immersion into the sport. I know it's impossible, or not impossible, but almost impossible to completely consume ourselves with the derby, with the tournament. But can you give Jack a way to do it, immerse himself in tournament fishing, yet still live a productive life and not lose everything that he loves?
Sure. I can give you a lot of advice on that. I mean, that would take all evening to talk about. But as far as, becoming successful at the sport, when you're your age, Jack, starting out, you sort of have to position, first of all, you got to position your life around the fact that will allow you to spend as much time on the water as you possibly can. And with that comes with eliminating distractions and sacrificing. I mean, I didn't have a girlfriend until I was 23 years old. I never even dated till I was 23 because I was on the water all the time, and I didn't have anything else going on in my life but fishing. So I was willing to make that sacrifice. But so that's just the external part of it. But the internal part of it, as far as immersing yourself in fishing, is you have to have the ability when you get out on the water, as soon as you push away from the dock and you put that throttle down on the boat, you have to be able to have a mental shift in your mind where everything else falls away and you're totally focused on the moment. It's like everything that is entering your mind is centered around finding those bass and catching those bass and putting yourself around those fish. You have to forget about, mowing the grass. You have to forget about, if you're going to think you're going to have problems paying your mortgage that week, or if you got whatever problems. And that is one of the most important things that every successful pro angler that I know can do, is they can just, everything drops away when they get out on the water. And even if you had, say, for example, if you had a bad practice, if you're having problems catching fish, is you eliminate that from your way of thinking. You get out in the water, you have your mind start from a clean slate, and you just tell yourself, I'm going to find these fish today. It's just a matter of when. I may find them in the first 30 minutes. I may find them the last 30 minutes of the day, but I'm going to find those fish. And then you, at the same time, in order to be fully immersed in that, the reason you're mentally exhausted at the end of the day is you have to anticipate that strike every single cast. You have to visualize a bass tracking that bait every single cast. And when you do that, you're always prepared, you're ready for the strike, and you're mentally exhausted at the end of the day because you're totally focused in on the moment. And that's the whole thing about it, is you have to be fully present in tournament angling. And, when I was at the top of my game, when I was winning the tournaments that I won, tournaments that I do good in, that's when I am completely 100% present in that moment. Everything else is like, my senses become more aware, my vision's better, my hearing's more sharp. I scan the perimeter naturally around me out there.
Like a wolf.
Your senses just you have a heightened state of awareness when you're present like that. So that's just a very brief description.
Yeah.
And that time to go.
And that's a great example of total immersion and doing it at levels there. And that is success. If you can figure out how to do it, not only during the derb, but during practice too for the derb, to the very end of that particular event. I mean, that's the key to success. And Jack, take that from the only professional bass angler to ever pose naked, by the way. That's Randy Blockett.
I did know that. About him. I follow the sport. I'm a bass head.
That's history. That's bass history, Randy. You know that.
Yeah, that's my claim to fame right there, man.
Do you recommend it, Randy, for any young anglers coming up as a good exposure to autumn sport?
Yeah. That's outstanding.
I think a lot of us have posed naked, just no one ever took a picture.
Yeah.
Usually not with a bass fishing rod. I feel
like.
That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Randy just had a sock. He had a sock on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the chili peppers.
In the crosswalk.
Yes. But hey, Randy, speaking of total immersion, you got a deal to do tomorrow.
Yep.
And you're at Dardanelle. You're no stranger to Dardanelle. And you're fish. I still call it FLW. Or what is it tomorrow, Randy? Is it?
It's the Toyota Series.
Toyota Series.
Yeah.
Okay. And man, you're no stranger to Dardanelle. Are you going to immerse yourself tomorrow?
Fully, man. I'll get out there in the morning and just one cast at a time, man. Just waiting to feel it load up at the end of the rod.
Absolutely, man. And Randy, I want to thank you again for coming on this show. I can't tell you how great of a time I had with you tonight. We've been waiting a long time to do this, and I thank you so much for the support you've shown this show, even since the radio days, way back, man, way back. So
Yeah, remember,
yeah. So thank you
awesome.
so much, Bass
Appreciate
Galaxy.
it, man.
Give it up for the one and only Randy Blockett, right there. Hey, Randy, what do you want to say before you get out of here?
Man, just like I said, just thanks again, Pat, for having me on, and appreciate everybody that's tuning into the podcast tonight. Much appreciated, and we'll go out there and see if we can catch a few tomorrow.
Heck yeah. Follow Randy on Instagram, Facebook, and, of course, the YouTube channel. It's Randy Blockett, Bass Fishing Legend. Thanks again, Randy.
Good luck,
Appreciate it,
Randy.
bud.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Sir.
Nice to meet you, Randy. It was an honor.
You too, man. You too.
Yes. Which brings us to our next victim. Jack Dice.
Progressing forward.
The tumbling Jack Dice. I said progression, Ryan, so you did. Yeah, I see what you did there.
I participated, yeah.
Hey, bud. Seriously, again, congratulations on the victory. You are a true derber. For those that don't know, again, let's reiterate. You won the team event solo project, and then after that, you got in the truck and pulled the boat to like a Costa deal or something. And
Well, I actually drove it to a BFL on Bugs Island. I fished
Hey,
look at that.
so tried to pull a little bit of Randy Blockett mojo, but the water was not in the bushes.
It wasn't.
And I did not try to sneak under a bridge.
Yeah, and you didn't have the shorts on. The
No,
same shorts
I did
that-
not have the shorts, which was really lacking.
Yeah,
that
'cause
really
that's
hurt
it,
me. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, Pat Walters has those shorts now, and the funny thing is that
kind of.
yeah, Pat Walters is good at the live scan, but
He's very good at it. Yeah.
Randy shorts.
Pat's shorts are a little baggy, though. He needs to tighten them up. I think.
Yeah, they're a hybrid Biffle Randy short,
Yeah.
is what they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Jack. Jack, I want you to tell us, like, you tackled a tough fishery, and you caught bucketheads and brownfish on Cumberland, and let's face it, a lot of times the people leave the smallmouth alone because of the size limit on Cumberland, but you had a strategy, and you did it with with style, man. You did it with everything from finesse bait to a mag draft. You're an animal. You're a freaking animal.
Yeah, well, it looked like I had a strategy, but my real strategy was just to pray really hard and hope I caught something.
I love it. Yes, thank God for that.
Going into it, I didn't know what was. I mean, there were so many fish in Cumberland; it's ridiculous. But I mean, that was just the story of practice. Was all the moaning was, oh my gosh, why do they got to be 18? I mean, you caught so many 16, 17 inches. So for me, it was really just like, well, I'll just play the odds. I'll just see if I can set the hook enough, and eventually maybe I'll catch 5 keepers in a day. And I was able to kind of figure it out a little bit each day. So that was really fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you sure did. And talk about, the whole show here is about progression tonight. And again, you did it. You figured it out each day, which a lot of people don't realize that, and this sounds like such a very simple statement, but a lot of people don't put it into perspective that you really have to figure it out each day, because once you stop mentally figuring it out, you're done. You know, it's kind of like what Randy was saying with the immersion. You can't have anything else on your mind, and you, for a college kid, like, I can't even see a shiny thing without losing my train of thought. I mean, and you did it for, what was that, right? And you did it for 4 days. I mean, dude, it's amazing. Think about that. Think about it.
Well, bass fishing is the shiny thing that keeps me distracted.
Okay,
so
good
answer. That makes it a little bit easier. But,
yes.
I mean, but that's not easy to be in, to try to, like, it's so easy to get caught up in thinking about where am I going to go next? What am I going to do next? That it really comes down to, you got to focus on every cast. So when you have in this tournament, I didn't catch I did not catch a limit any day of practice. I was just hoping to catch a limit. So when you do that, it kind of helps you out in a way, because you almost have, it's like, well, I got nothing to lose. Yeah. You go out there with a fresh mind. open mind and you just focus on every cast you make, and you got to believe that every cast you might have a chance at catching one, and you better act like it.
Yeah.
So
Just the moment.
Yeah, our buddy.
just the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And our buddy Fighter says catching fish fixes everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like, so you talked about it being a tough derby, but it's like one of those things where everyone's talking about how tough it was. But of course, after the tournament, I'm like, that wasn't that hard. It didn't feel that hard. Like, I didn't do anything that special. I mean, I threw a Ned rig and a wacky rig Cinco and a mag draft some, but like nothing that crazy. So it's like when you're fishing in it and you're doing it right, it becomes easy. And that's where you want to be, is in the place where you're actually realizing what's happening. And I was really fortunate that because I didn't really have a great practice, I was able to kind of fish with an open mind in the tournament and figured it out every day a little bit better.
Yeah, dude. And speaking of fortunate, you're a fortunate man. You got a head on your shoulders. I mean, for a kid, you're God focused, which is super important in life. You know that things happen because of that reason. Yet you're able to. There's a lot going on for college age kids. There's a lot going on. And I can't reiterate how important it is for you, as an example, and many others out there, to have bass fishing in college. Mm-hmm. Okay? I shared with you a little story of how I didn't have bass fishing and I just fished. I played in a rock band and fished in college. That's what I did, and showed up on test day. But
look how it worked out for you.
It took quite a few years. But anyway, everything happens for a reason. But the fact of the matter is, man, college bass fishing, the fact that it exists, and whoever invented it. Like, who invented college bass fishing? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Did Ronnie Moore invent college
Was it
bass?
Ronnie Moore?
I think Ronnie Moore invented it.
Nah.
Yes. No. Who invented college bassing? For real.
I know Illinois was the first to do the high school thing, but I don't know about college.
Okay. I mean,
I got no clue.
We need to know that. Oh, this right in. Giuseppe Leviticus McGillicuddy was the first.
That's right.
Giuseppe Leviticus McGillicuddy. From
the third
Blasphakamish University. Okay. There's a little bit of history for you right there. Mark that down, kids. But I don't know where did college bassing start, but thank God for it. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what organization started it.
Yeah, I mean, and college Bass Nation taking it to a new level, and Bass Nation, the way they support the upbringing and the development of the college angler. Give it up for Bass Nation, please, right now. For supporting dudes like Tumbling Jack Dice and the rest of the Durbers out there.
Hey, Jack, I need to know, when you fished the Opens, did you fish the Opens as a co-angler?
I did, yeah.
Dude.
That's how I started.
Okay. I just got to tell you, have you seen the show before where we do the numbers?
I've seen it a few times. I've seen it a few times. So,
you're not missing much.
Well, yeah, you're not missing much, especially this segment. But, look...
Not the whole show. Don't
I usually look everybody's numbers up beforehand and put some.
He reads your
together.
File, bud. He reads your file.
And with your short history, I didn't think I was going to see much.
Yeah.
But you just won this college thing.
Sometimes he probes Ronnie Moore for information.
Looking at your Bassmaster stats, you fished 5 of those derbs as a co-angler. You got 5 checks. That's got to be. Has anyone else done that? Has anyone else fished 5 as a co and got 5 checks in a row?
I don't know.
That's insane.
Honeycut.
As a honeycut. Yeah. But you got 5 checks. You weighed 75 pounds of bass. You won $4,474. You averaged like $1,000 a tournament, pretty close.
For a kid.
And you averaged $59 per pound of bass as a co-angler as a kid.
Wow. That's a lot of Cinco de Mayos right there.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of Cincos for you.
That is quite impressive, though.
Wow.
Thank you. I mean, like, that was actually that's how I got started, was learning as a co. So my first bass tournament I ever fished was the Northern Open on the James. And so that's how I got started. And then I started fishing BFLs and now college fishing.
Gotcha. We have something in common.
Ryan's going there. He's starting.
I'm fishing my first Bass Open next week on the James River.
On the James? You're fishing that one?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool. That's
you too?
Awesome. No, I'm not. I'm going to be at Smith Lake for the next college event. But
gotcha. Okay.
Someday I'd like to be in those events.
On the historic James River. right there.
Yeah.
Who won on the James River? Who won a classic on the James River?
I mean, multiple people, but we had.
I mean, well, go
Rick
ahead.
Klein,
Okay, all right.
Hank
Who won
See,
Parker.
multiples?
This kid's awesome. Hey, thank you. Let's give it up for Nolan Miner for turning me on to your prowess right here. We like, this is like shout outs. I never do shout outs on Straight Cast, but we're doing that. It's like,
That's
I'm like
good.
a YouTuber now. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to Bill.
You're really
over
hip, Pat. You're
Yeah,
really
shout,
fitting in.
Yeah, shout out to Jerry.
Hey,
Jerry over
hey,
there.
guys.
Yeah,
Hey,
hey,
guys.
guys. I want to give a quick shout out. But anyway, dude, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. You're doing really well for yourself. And speaking of YouTube, you got some cool stuff on there. I know you're not like one hundo YouTuber, but what I find you doing, and I think this is pretty interesting, and I'd really like you to share this with the viewers at home. I know you learn from watching what you tape or what you video of yourself, and I find it intriguing. It's something. It's like watching game day tapes. You can sometimes when we got to do things on the water for Stray Cast, and I watch stuff back, and I'll see like how I lost fish or what I did wrong in those moments. It's pretty interesting, and I know you're a smart dude, man. What have you learned from watching yourself? And give me an example.
Well, it's funny you asked that. See, a lot of it's, I learn little things. I pick up things here and there about, like, a lot of times you realize you fish baits either a lot faster or a lot slower in search than you actually thought you were doing. But actually, looking at the tape was actually really interesting at this tournament. So on day one here at Cumberland, I was catching a lot of my fish were smallmouth spawning in the rocks, and I was catching them on a Ned rig. But
hold on one second, Jack. Do you video every derb like for your own?
I tried to.
Gotcha. And it's for your own personal knowledge more so than your YouTube or
No, I originally do it for YouTube. It's just school has kind of become, like you talk about balancing all these things. YouTube has kind of been one of those things that's fallen off the edge.
Okay, and that's okay.
I'd like to get back to it a little bit more. But so in this tournament, I recorded everything on day one. So I was catching smallmouth spawning in the rocks on a Ned rig, but it was hard to catch a limit. So I tried to catch some largemouth too. So at one point, I was in the back of this creek, and there's this one little standing tree, and I had a wacky Yamamoto Senko on, and I chuck it up to the tree, and I thought in my brain, man, I need to go rig up a flipping bait. So I set the rod down. I go back in the back of the boat, rig up the bait, come up, pick out the color, rig it on, tie it up, put it down, pick up the rod, go to reel it in. It's like, wait a minute. I thought I cast by that tree. Why is it behind the boat?
A little heavy, isn't it? What's something going on?
Yeah, a little heavy. This thing goes a little heavy. And I caught a keeper largemouth. And I was like, whoa, that was really lucky.
Thank you, God.
Yeah, thank you, God. That was one of those things where you're like, huh. Looking back, it was like, wow, that really worked out well for me. But I looked at the tape that night, and I saw that from the time the bait hit the water, I counted until I picked it up, and it was about 20 seconds. And so the next day, I thought I had burned all my fish in my area on the second day of the tournament. I thought I needed to figure out something different. So I roll back into my prime. I get in my best stretch, and I'm like, man, I think I've picked off all these spawning fish. But I see one of these trees, and I chuck my Senko up to it, and I say, I'm going to count to 20. I counted to 20 seconds, and I reel up, and I'm like, where's the Senko? It was under the boat, and I caught an 18-inch smallmouth. And that's how I ended up. That was one of my primary deal to win the tournament.
Unreal, dude.
So, yeah, there you go.
Unreal.
Yeah.
You're way smarter.
Smart fishing.
Yeah, I would have watched it a million times and never picked up on it. I mean, that's brilliant that you did.
Well,
that.
it was the only thing that could keep me fishing that slow was like actually counting out loud, because it gave me something to do, because that was the most unsexy, boring thing you could ever do to win a tournament. I was like, man, I wish I was catching them on a mag draft still. But
sure, but what matters is the W. That's it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it, dude.
Dead sticking that Senko de Mayo.
Man. That's all right. What's the next derp? What do you got next for your college deal?
Is the Bassmaster Carhartt series. They go to Smith Lake in Alabama. So that's next week. So I got to finish a couple finals on Friday, and then truck on down there. If I can
give a shout out to your university, by the way. I mean, that would be a miss if you didn't do that.
Yeah, definitely got to shout out Liberty University for allowing us to go. We know we're not a very big team, and we're trying to build the team up with the school. So we got a long ways to go, but I'm certainly thankful that for my professors letting me.
Who's your favorite professor?
I had a professor called Dr. Olson, and we got to watch movies in his class, so I like that class the most probably.
Which professor is the biggest dick out of all of them?
I don't know if we've had. There've been professors that I just didn't jive with, but actually, I haven't really had any very rude professors.
Okay,
they kind of hide it. I mean, it's a Christian university; they can't be rude.
I've had rude ones, but I deserved it. I promise you that. Hey, can you do a David Dudley impersonation?
Dudley impersonation.
Yeah,
that requires a special twang.
Can't you try it?
Hey, Bubba. Darn, Bubba. You just throw your whack worm up there, boy. I set the hook. Smoked him. Well, darn.
Golly bum.
What's he say all the time? Set your world on fire or something like that?
I'm gonna melt your brain.
I'm gonna melt your mind.
I'm gonna melt your. This one's gonna melt your mind.
Hit that mind melting shit.
Pat, I'm gonna melt your mind on this one. It's. I want $1 gazillion on this, Pat.
Dudley's a character.
You, me, him, them, and we won $1 million. Zillion. Gazillion. NPFL.
I gotta shake your head out. It's gonna melt your mind.
Melt your mind on that new shake your head and swimmer. Love Dudley.
Love him.
Love him. I seriously do. That guy's nuts. He's freaking nuts.
You don't impersonate people you don't like.
Yeah. Dudley's outstanding. What's the number one thing you've ever learned from David Dudley, your buddy?
Number one thing?
Yeah.
There's so many little things.
No, number one.
Number one.
Number one.
You put me on the spot here.
Number one thing.
Just to be aware. Think while you fish.
Okay.
I think think while you fish. It's because he seems like, you talk to him, some of the stuff he says, you're like, Dudley, what are you talking about? But then the more he talks, you're like, he's really thinking about that. That actually makes kind of sense. He's kind of a genius. Like he's a goofy, weird genius.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Great way to put it. And let me give you an example about how Dudley thinks that you might not think. That was weird. Him and his boy make swim bait heads, as I'm sure you're aware of. I think his boy started a little business with it for school or something.
We tested him in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Yes. And Dudley gets so intricate and so into it, he actually varies hook sizes, gap diameters, and shaft lengths of hooks per head weight. So he'll have a 3/16 with 4 different types of hooks, depending on the swim bait he's throwing with it.
Good idea.
A lot of people don't do that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's a good. No one will ever know how David Dudley thinks, and I wonder what David thinks about what Randy said earlier. You know, about the dropped weights. Dave don't care. He won 900,000 on it.
Yeah. I think he's like, man, there's water under the bridge.
Yeah,
that worked out for him. He wasn't spending weeks thinking about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't think that it's like, and it was obviously there's no maliciousness or whatever on anybody's part.
They all knew the rules when they entered the tournament.
100%, 100%. Dudley's a maniac. Hey, what's your goal in Bassin? What is your Bassin goal?
Bassin goal is probably the same as every other kid my age in those college series tournaments, is to make it as a pro. Make it as a pro. You want to. We all love it so much. You want to do this for your life, and if you can. So for me, I just want to see. Obviously, it's hard. It's a hard road, and like anything, it can become tedious at times. I'm sure Randy knows that, but if you love it enough, you can make it worth it, I think.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and I certainly love it. So if I could make it as a pro, that'd be a lot. But of course, I would like to also win as a pro. That'd be pretty nice too.
Yeah, that will hopefully come. You got a good head on your shoulders, dude, and you seem to convey yourself well, and that's important. And you also know how to win.
Well, we know how to win college derbs. We'll work on it.
You got to start somewhere. I mean, come on, dude. Hey, you got to start winning at home, and then Ryan Popcorn told you your stats as a on the opens. Come on, bro.
Awesome.
That ain't shabs. I know you're with Yamamoto, and you do a good job with your business partner there, Gary Yamamoto. And one of the cool things about any bass fisherman is that in the sport of bass fishing, your heroes may be more accessible than any other sport. I believe that the sport of bass fishing and the bass fishing community is probably the tightest knit community there is. Large yet small in nature, if that makes sense. And because of your relationship with Yamamoto, you got to fish with one of the most amazing anglers of all time, a legend. And he threw you a bag of Senkos, and he said, "You don't work them, son. They work for you."
That's exactly it.
Tell me about fishing with Roland, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude. Where to start? I mean, that was like, I mean, it's a dream come true, because that's how I started learning bass fishing. Is I didn't really, no one in my family really fishes. I don't really know anybody who fishes growing up. So what I would do is I would check out books at the library.
Okay.
And the only books that they had Homer Circle, and they had Roland Martin's 101 Bass Catching Secrets.
I love this kid.
And that is what I would check it out every week.
Yes.
And I would read it and read it and read it and read it. And so,
what's your favorite chapter? Favorite chapter?
Favorite chapter? I probably like the one where he talked about catching a Santee Cooper 10-pounder by coming back at dark with a trick worm and making a bomb cast to it.
I remember.
Black trick worm.
I remember that part. I also like the Santee Cooper jigger poling and doodle socking.
Yeah. That was a good part too.
Yeah. I keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I like you more now.
Problem.
I like you more.
I mean, it's a good book.
Yeah.
So
then
best. It was like, so obviously getting to work with Yamamoto has been, that in itself. I mean, I get to work with a company that makes the most bassingest, catchingest shape of all time. Senko. So I
Can't
got to
argue
travel.
that.
They had me down there to take photos, and the guy who works, Ron Colby, he said, it's like, well, have you gotten to, we were getting near the end of the week. He's like, well, have you gotten to fish with everybody? I was like, can I please fish with Roland? Just put me in for 1/2 day. And he was like, all right, I'll get you with Roland. So
That's amazing.
We got to go out on the water, and it was, I'll tell you, the one thing about Roland is, he's had these shows for, I watched his show for years, and that was, going fishing with, Roland Martin, the great American fisherman.
He'll fish anywhere.
Yeah, he catch
Anywhere there's water.
Anywhere there's water.
That's right. He's got pipes.
So it's like, but it's so funny because we're like riding along and talking. He'll tell you all these amazing stories. Like, he's very open. And then, but it's funny, the instant he hooks one, we click the cameras on, and it's like, bring, camera Roland Martin is on, and it's like suddenly I'm hearing every catchphrase that I've always heard. Oh, son,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounder.
Oh, son, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, 12 pounder. That's exactly it. It was like so funny that it was like he's a cool, genuine dude, but he definitely has this little switch he turns into professional Roland.
It's freaking awesome.
Cameras go on.
It's amazing. And I had the opportunity to fish with Scott Roland recently, or not?
Yeah, at the Elite Series event. You got to
I was marshalling with him, and same deal, man. Like, it's like there's a red light in their brain. And when it goes, it goes. It's amazing. Yeah, man. I mean, like, so was it amazing to watch Roland Martin actually set the hook?
Yeah,
in
it was
person.
And it was like, I think the first fish he caught that morning was like a 7-pounder. It was like, okay.
Just with the butt of the rod right in the belly button.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I got him. Yeah. So it was like,
it
was hard to fish. You pretty much just sat there and just deadpan the whole time, and try not to say anything too stupid.
Awesome.
But
yeah, he wouldn't care anyway.
Did
you guys exchange numbers?
I can't remember if. No, he did not give me his
I'll
number.
give you his number. You could like prank text him.
I can
later.
prank him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll get in a group text together. But hey man, dude, I want to for coming on to the Straight Cast show, and I want to congratulate you again on your college victory, dude, on your Bassmaster College trail. Stop 2.
You are gone, Pat. Yeah. You are gone.
Yeah, man. I mean, so now how many events are left?
Oh,
There you are. How many events are left?
in the college series,
Yeah.
I think I got with the national championship, and I got 3 other national college ones. But then I'm gonna fish a couple MLF college, and then I fish, a half dozen BFL. So I got tournaments for the whole year.
You ever gonna get in any of the NIPFL, the NPFL, so Dudley can commentate on you?
If someone's willing to give me about $30,000, if anyone out there wants to give me $30,000 to go fishing,
There it is. We're putting it
more
out
than
there,
happy.
right? Hey, Andy, can you give
the kid.
Yeah, give him some background music. We're gonna do a plea now. Jack's gonna do a please. Give him something good. And Jack, this will be to any non-endemic, non-industry sponsor. Plead to them right now why they should give you money to fish tournaments when you graduate college. Only when you graduate college, mind you. Why should people give you money to fish?
The magic of fishing is something that stirs my soul. Everyone out there, you right there, you know that feeling. You're chasing meaning. You're chasing meaning and purpose. But the meaning and purpose I'm chasing has little green fins. And I gotta catch him. He's out there waiting for me. But without your financial support, I can't catch him. So please, help a man find his purpose.
Special purpose.
Help find some bass. Please, give me $30,000.
Yes. Send it to Jack.
Wow.
Jack Dice. And what was the sponsor you were pleading to? Who was that?
Shoot. Well, I've been wired on Red Bull all week, so.
That was absolutely outstanding. And if Red Bull doesn't sign you on, they're dumb. They're absolutely dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Red Bull, Mountain Dew, anybody out there.
That was fantastic.
Amazing job. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the future of bass fishing. Jack Dice. Tumbling Jack Dice. Yes.
Future is bright, man.
Yes. Great job, dude. Looking.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. It was an honor for me to get to be on the Straight Cast show.
Dude, our pleasure. You going to be at the Classic?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can squeeze it in.
There's going to be a little something happening at the Omnia booth at the Bassmaster Classic. Omnia. I can't say too much, but yeah, OmniaFishing.com. Come see us over there. I hope to see you at the Classic. We'll hang out.
Well, if I'm there, I'd love to hang out with you.
Absolutely.
I'll
Ladies and
stop by
gentlemen,
Omnia.
Bass Galaxy, give it up again for the one and only Jack Dice. Remember that name. That's a bassin name. Jack Dice.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jack.
Peace, bud. Thanks again. Amazing kid right there. Wow. Bass fishing something else.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, gosh. I wish there was talk shows for me to go on when I was a kid.
Yeah, right?
Damn.
Oh, my God. That was amazing.
Absolutely it was.
Yeah.
This is a fun episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the kind I like. The kind I talked about at the beginning of the show. These are the kind I get off on, you know?
This is good stuff.
This is Bassin. This is Bassin Talk Showing right here. Speaking of Bassin Talk Showing, it's time to give away stuff on this Bassin Talk Show. And everybody knows Wednesday nights, Straight Cast, it's the place to win free Bassin stuff. And tonight, it is Bravarni swim jigs, courtesy of Dan Bravarni. Dan's been making jigs for 732 years, I believe.
That's exactly right.
In the
yes.
Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
And he's been a Chicago Cubs fan for 733 years, I believe, Dan
He
Bravarni.
loves the Cubs.
He loves those Cubbies. There's no doubt about it.
He didn't transfer over.
And we love Dan Bravarni.
No.
We do love Dan. And Dan has been a proud athletic supporter of this show since day one, Ryan Whitaker.
Yes.
You missed that. He's been a proud athletic supporter of this show since
proud
day one.
athletic supporter.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah. He's
Dan-
held us secure.
Yes, he's held things in place.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. Thank you, Dan Bravarni and Bravarni Swim Jigs, our fave swim jigs. Also, get this. You know what Outcast Tackle has?
They got something to protect something.
They got something to protect your rod. That's right, the Slicks rod cover. And if you, most bass anglers these days are spending anywhere from $79.99 to $299 on a bass fishing rod. That's realistic.
Yeah.
That's the range. And if you're not covering up you're protecting your device, your stick, your pole, your rod.
I just started doing it.
With a Slicks rod cover. You just started doing it.
Yeah, just like the last year.
Yeah, you learn the hard way.
Well-
Those monthly checks add up, don't they, buddy?
Dude,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. When
the
you got
amount of guides I've saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But Slicks rod covers from Connor Summers and Outcast Tackle, as well as Bravarni Baits, it's a dual prize. Dooley. You know who else is duly amazing?
Who's that?
It's our intern, Jay Kaz from
Jay
New
Kaz.
Jersey. Jay Kaz, you're there. Hi.
What's going on, Pat?
Hi, Jake. How are you doing? What brand
Amazing.
of window are those? Windows are those behind you? Are those Andersons?
They're
Pellis?
they're double pane, cheap replacement windows.
Thermopline? Did they slice,
Good.
dice, and even catch mice? Is that a new amazing product that secures your home and not only keeps your heating and energy bill down, it makes things more efficient and keeps your wife happy and keeps things happy in the bedroom? All because of new windows. Yep, that's right. I'll sign you up right now and get you a whole house. I'll do the measurement and I'll get you out here, and hey, it's fully financed. That's all we need. A set of new windows. What do you think?
I'm in. How many?
I see. That's where's we got. Oh, and we need to write a check to Jack Dice too. Gosh, forgot to write the check at the end of that.
Oh.
Yeah, for that. Anybody should write a check to him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That was amazing. But so anyway, Jake, how do you like being a Stray Cast intern?
It's awesome.
Yeah, is it
Yeah.
really? Are you just saying that?
No, I get to work with guys like Ryan and Andy, and then I work with Pat too.
Yeah, we have a lot of meaningless conversations on the phone.
Lots of.
Yeah.
Lots of.
Yeah.
That changed like 18 different times.
Yeah, you confuse me a lot because I confuse myself. So by the time we're done with the conversation, we get to where we need to be, and that's all that matters. So what I need people to know is remember Largemouth Sassy Pants? She was on the show not too long ago. Awesome woman. Well, she is now giving you you are now running the Line and Lure.
Yes.
Bow to Stern and Arma Shield pages.
Jake is.
The Jake is now.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jake is now. So Ryan Whitaker fishing
slick job.
the James River next week. He'll be sending you some line and lure stuff. Ryan's got plenty of stuff. So Jake, Kevin Van Dam, I know you're not listening right now.
I got a video for you.
Yeah, Kevin, send Jake some stuff.
That juggling video. Send that video.
Grow and Matt might listen sometime to this. Send Jake some stuff. Kevin Van Dam's definitely never going to listen to this episode. 100% promise that.
He loves this show.
Yeah, he don't give a shit about anything. Anyway, it's Line and Lure, though. It's KVD Line and Lure. Jake,
Yes.
but what we're doing is, see how I did that? This is how our phone conversations are. What we're really talking about, Jake, is Bravarni swim jigs and the amazing stuff. Go ahead, Ryan.
The slicks.
Yeah, the rods. That's it. If you're,
I'm listening.
no, Ryan was looking over there. It was amazing.
That's my monitor. Is that little 3-inch?
Is that what you're looking at?
Box.
I was
on Andy's computer.
Like,
yeah.
it was an amazing glare that you had going. But the Rod Slicks covers and the Bravarni swim jigs give away 2 winners. Are you ready?
Double
Jake?
dipping.
Are you ready,
I'm
Jake?
ready.
Are you ready?
I'm
You're
ready.
giving them away?
Ready.
Andy,
Ready.
you got anything up tempo? We need something up. There it is. Medieval up tempo.
So the first winner, going to be the Bravarni Baits, is Rigo Vega.
What?
Nice
Yeah.
name.
That was a band I was in high school.
Rigo Vega.
Yeah.
That's what
We
they
did
call
all
him.
Depeche Mode covers.
I thought that was a character on Street.
Oh, Rigo Vega. What's the person's name? Rigo Vega?
Rigo Vega.
That's
Awesome
a freaking
name.
awesome name.
Really great name. We
Uh,
got Jack Dice, Rigo
Jack
Vega.
Dice and Rigo Vega.
Jesus.
This fall on NVC. They're like private
Any
detectives.
relation to John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction?
I don't know.
Vincent Vega?
That's right. All right, so what did they win?
They won the Bravarni Baits Pack of Awesomeness.
Okay, awesome. Direct message Jake Haas at the Straycast Bookface page. And what else? Who else won? Who won the Slicks Rod?
And the winner is Scott Edwards.
Scott Edwards.
Scott Edwards Evers.
Jamming with
Scott Edwards
Evers. Yeah, it's not Evers. Don't say that or he'll get mad. He got mad at me on the air here just because I got his name wrong on purpose. Couldn't take a joke. Sorry, Edwin. Unreal. I didn't know his name.
It's Evers.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got offended. Remember?
I do remember the
Yeah,
corrections.
It's the second show. First time he was cool. Anyway, am I saying things out loud again?
He was tired.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. Direct message Jake Haas at the Stray Cast Facebook page, and if you didn't get prizes, direct message Jake Haas too. You'll get your shit. We promise. Like sometimes we miss stuff. We're only human, but Jake, you're responsible for all this now.
And let us know when you get it.
Yeah, how's that for? Yeah, please let us know. That would be nice.
That matters.
Yeah, people are always like, yeah, and I'm like, well, why didn't you let us know when you do get it? And then that happens. But hey, Jake, what was your favorite part about tonight? Ryan's too. Isn't that a coincidence?
Jack Dice is awesome.
Dude, he was one of my favorites. The kid's freaking amazing. The kid's freaking amazing. Hey,
I want to give him all my money. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'd write him a check right there.
I liked Randy a lot.
Randy was freaking awesome too. Yeah,
he has some great stuff.
I can't believe people are so shallow-minded that they don't even just like.
Well, they read a thing and then they make an opinion, and it's stupid.
Randy don't like electronics. He don't like electronic live screaming, steaming.
Another one of them haters.
He's on the anti-live streaming. I mean, live scan scoping. Keep them sleeping, life them scoping.
Yeah.
You got something to say?
I hate those debates. As soon as you see those, you know the A-rig debate's coming right after it.
Who gives a flying F? We're here to bass fish, dumbos.
Exactly.
Doesn't everybody know we're here to bass fish?
We're all here to bass fish.
And there only needs to be one league. And everything,
It's all we need.
All we need is love.
They all need to come together. Or one giant championship. How about that?
Or
How
a
about
big
Super
world
Bowl?
championship cage match. Death bass fishing match.
Yeah, because everyone
Put
knows
an end
that
to
the
the
true
bullshit and the
champion in
crying.
football is the winner of the NFC. What? No, the
Huh?
AFC. Oh, yeah.
Who?
Two leagues together?
WWF?
Bring your best.
Cage match?
Yeah. How about that? Championship? Everybody has fun?
Hey, I think we do it. I think we should do it.
gotta
And let
happen.
let the legends in.
Yes. It's got to happen.
Let them in the Super Derb in the end of the year transition period. Fall shad spawn, spring 62-degree water.
Coming out of the shad spawn division.
Yes. And out of the blueback
Weighing in
herring
at
division.
146 pounds.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're babbling. Crestliner, thank you for your support of this show. OmniaFishing.com. Look for big news from Omnia. Tin Cup Whiskey. Heck yeah, Luke Foley. Hi, Jesse. How you doing out there? Thanks for your support of the Stray Cast. Power Pull. We power pull down for pleasure. We don't know about you. Sims wear. I'm wearing Sims. I got Sims pants and socks on right now. THMarineSupplies.com. Atlas jack plate. Best invention ever in the world of jack plates. Empire covers. Bass boat covers for under $200. Half a Spot Official. Download the app. Ryan Riddick. Half a Spot Official app. Download it. Big Derb going on. Fish against Mike Iaconelli. He's a legend of the game. Also, Ebu Garcia in Berkeley. Thank you. Thank you for amazing products. Alpha Angler. If you are not part of the glass rod, composite rod revolution, you better get there. Next week, Jake Boomer and the great Brandino and Joe Labarera. Yeah, they're coming on to talk about some alphas and
Join
that
the
good
Alphalution.
stuff. Bite Me Tackle. Thanks, Brad Zollers, for the finest quality components and jig hits. Dakota Lithium Batteries. Thanks, Stormy, for your lightness in your batteries. Amphibia, my favorite way to throw shade. Amphibia eye gear. War Eagle spinnerbaits, they run true every time, even when the Ginger Ninja burns them. That's the War Eagle spinnerbait. Outcast, thanks for your rod slicks and thanks for your fighter jigs and also line and lure. Thank you, Isaac Moore, for being a scientist and inventing cool shit like line and lure and bow to stern and arm shield and the new soonly to come water spot remover, which Ginge tested, and the cottonseed spreader remover. Yes,
Cottonwood spreader.
Cottonwood spreader remover. Yes.
Wow.
Love removal machine.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Pat Renwick, and I thank God for the opportunity to talk to you, Bass Fishing Galaxy, and I thank God for the opportunity that he has given me in this crazy, crazy world of bass fishing. For myself, Ryan Whitaker, and Andrew Ellenberger, the Ginger Ninja, and Larry Kyleman, and Jay Kaz. Don't forget this show's on iTunes. Apparently everyone likes podcasts these days and listens to them. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. But this is a bass fishing talk show, not a podcast. Get it right. Quit screwing up. So when you listen to things, say I downloaded the Bass Fishing Talk Show, not the podcast. Peace.
Download the Bass Fishing Talk Show as a podcast.
As a podcast. Yeah, that's apropos.
There you go.
As they might say. Until we meet again, arrivederci, salakamucha machinkum, and all that, I stole the Lincoln, all that good stuff. See you next week, Bass Galaxy. I'm Pat Remick, and I'm out of here.
Assalamualaikum.
That's one, too.